Hello guys, in this episode we will create our first material, take a look at the basic lighting actors, and learn how to test a scene using play mode and simulate. We will start with creating a material and applying color changes so you understand how surfaces in Unreal Engine work. First, create a new folder called Materials. Now right-click and select Material. Name it M_starter color. Double-click to open it. Inside the material editor, you are looking at a system that defines how a surface reacts to light. For now, we keep it very simple. Add a constant 3-vector node. Right-click and find it in the menu. Now connect it to base color. This node controls the color of the material. Pick a visible color like blue or orange. And save. Now we need to use it in the scene. Drag material onto a cube in the level. At this point, your object is no longer using the default material. It is now using your custom material. Material can be anything. Simple color like in this example, wood, brick or rock. They control the appearance of a mesh. So cube is a mesh and material gives it visual representation. Now we move to lighting. This is what gives your scene depth and atmosphere. Select directional light in the outliner. Directional light represents the sun. It affects everything in the scene equally based on direction. Notice how shadows move across objects. This is your main lighting direction. Now we will discuss ambient lighting. Select Skylight. Skylight provides ambient lighting. It fills in darker areas and simulates light coming from the sky and bouncing around the environment. Now you can see the difference clearly. Directional light gives strong direct lighting, and Skylight softens the overall scene. Now we will talk about exposure, which controls how bright or dark everything appears. Search for post-process volume and add it to the scene. Enable infinite extent so it affects the whole level. Exposure can make your scene look too bright or too dark depending on settings. Find exposure settings in post-process volume. Adjust exposure compensation slightly up and down. You will notice the whole scene brightness changes. This is important because Unreal Engine tries to simulate real camera behavior. For now, keep it simple. Just understand that exposure is like your camera brightness control. Alright, now we move to testing your scene. Click play button in the toolbar. This launches play mode, where you experience the scene as a player. You can move around and interact depending on your setup. Now let's talk about Eject option. Eject lets you leave the player view while the game is still running. So instead of controlling the player, you can freely move around the editor and inspect what is happening in the scene. This is very useful when you want to debug or check objects during gameplay. For example, select an object in the outliner. Press F to focus the camera on it. This helps you quickly locate objects while the game is running. You can even inspect the player itself the same way. And one important shortcut. Press F8 to toggle between play mode control and editor control. This only works while play mode is running. Now there is also another way to run your scene without full player control. Click drop down next to play and select Simulate. Simulate runs the scene without a player controlling anything. It is mainly used for testing physics or general world behavior. Today, you learned how materials and lighting affect your scene. These are the core editor fundamentals you need to start working comfortably inside Unreal Engine. Next, we are going to improve your editor experience and make your workflow smoother by setting up important preferences, navigation options, and quality of life settings. This will help you work faster and avoid common beginner frustration as your projects grow. So see you guys in the next one.